Rosa, how you doing? Sorry it's a little noisy, but guess what? We're grinding in our KitchenAid mixer, and I've started with this one totally full. Okay, this is a 2-quart container from IKEA, and this is what I've made so far. This is a noisy job, so I'm not going to stay on here for too long. This is going to be a quickie video anyway. Okay. So, we'll bring it back when it gets to the next stage. Okay, we are back. A lot more quieter now, isn't it? But anyway, I took this full container, and this is a 2-quart, which is 8 cups. And this is the IKEA 365 Plus model containers. I got a whole bunch of these. In fact, I'll put a link of the video showing my review of these items, which, number one, because I have kind of like a galley style kitchen. I got a tiny, tiny pantry. In fact, I think I have a video on that one too. I'm pretty sure I do. But if I remember, I'll click that one also. But anyway, it's really, really tiny. And then we have an extra fridge in the garage. And I've done a lot of research this past year. And everywhere I'm going to, almost all the sites on Google and YouTube, a bunch of videos and this and that, all kinds of stuff. It says flour stores better if you freeze it or you refrigerate it versus leaving it in your pantry. And since I'm just now getting into bacon, and this is December, so this is the Christmas season, so I'm going to be doing some baked goods and stuff. But, so I have in my pantry, I have 1 container of all-purpose flour, 1 for sugar, 1 for brown sugar, and 1 for some pancake mix, because hubby loves his pancakes. But we don't have room for anything else. So I'm lucky because we keep our trash can outside instead of in the bottom of the pantry, which is where we used to keep it. But hubby really prefers it to be outside, and since he's more of the cook, well, until lately I've been doing more of the cooking, but I really am starting to enjoy it. So anyway, we keep our trash can outside. So the bottom half of the pantry, which the tall trash can used to fit in there, is all open. So I'm able to store these in there, but I use these mainly for like pasta, dry pasta. We like all kinds of pasta, and then any extra stuff, because I'm buying everything in bulk, so if I have an extra item, instead of keeping that big old container, I'll just put the extra in the container. So I'm going to start storing this directly in my fridge, because look at this, look at my hand. And I wear a size 6 ring. So my hands are not really big, but look how slim that is. So this is perfect, and I personally myself, to save on space, I store mine this way in my refrigerator. So this way I pull it out from here, from this in the top part, and I have my little label right here. And then I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to put another label right here, so that way we know exactly what we have. So in my fridge, I'm storing. You just store all your nuts in the fridge or the freezer, either one. But I don't have freezer space because we got just great. They're just refrigerators. It's an extra refrigerator is all it is, and that's a tiny. It's one of those old ones that's got the top freezer and the bottom half is all fridge. So it's not a really big freezer. And in my kitchen here in the house, it's just one of those side by sides, but it's a small, long one freezer, and there's not a whole lot of space for that there either. I would love to get, but we have to wait till this one breaks before we get another one. We used to have the kind you pull out with a deep freezer. No, that one really hubby and I both like that. But you've got to do what you got to do when it comes to finances, so we stuck with this one. And when this one goes out, we're going to go with the other one. But, in no big hurry, because you know what? We're empty nesters, so we're fine. We're good to go. And so store your flour, whether you grind it yourself or if you bought it from the store, store it in the fridge if you don't have freezer space. And it's perfectly fine to store it in this original paper packing, like flour comes in a paper bag. You can store it just like that, just the way it is in the freezer, just like that. And it might rip on you, so I personally like to put mine inside a grocery bag, and I tie it up. And then I just label the outside of the bag, so I already know exactly what it is. But I store my OCD kicks in. So I've got all my dry goods on one side, I got my meats on another, I got my sausage on another, I got my hash browns on another. My OCD kicks in, hubby just goes, ugh. But you know, it is what it is. And another thing, here's a big tip too, is I found out recently, about 7 months ago, it's best if you store your excess oil in the refrigerator. Yes, it's going to get hard and solidify, but that's okay, because all you got to do is take it out in about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how big the bottle is. It'll thaw out, and you can leave it in your pantry or you store it in your fridge. Hubby really does not like it stored in the fridge. He just doesn't like it. When he wants to use it, he wants to use it like right then and there. He doesn't take stuff out like 30 to 45 minutes in advance, unless it's something that he knows, like thawed meat out. That's different. But he don't do the condiments and stuff like that. So we compromised. You know, marriage is a compromise. So I got a small little bottle of olive oil, and I keep that in the pantry in the kitchen. And it's in my closet, kitchen pantry, so it's always dark and cool in there. And then I keep my other big bottles, because if, you know, right now it's holiday time, a lot of stores have specials. So you can buy the great big items, or buy like 3 or 4 of them and stock up. You want to stock up because it's a good deal, okay? And then stock it up, but store it in the fridge, okay? Because oils, all oils, almond oil, coconut oil, vegetable oil, what's that other one called? Canola oil, corn oil. All those oils will turn, along with the nuts, because the oil in the nuts, the natural oil in the nuts, will turn those items rancid, and they will turn as the older they get. So store them all in a cool, dark place, preferably the fridge. The freezer is your preference. Don't have room for that? Put it in your fridge. You don't have room for that? Keep it in a cool, dark spot, wherever it gets cold. And all our houses, all our apartments, all of us have a room somewhere that's a little bit colder than somewhere else. Like a lot of mine in my house are 2 master bedroom closets, because it sticks out. It's an awning area, okay? And those 2 closets freeze all winter long. So that's a perfect spot during winter to store cold stuff in. So if you have excess amount of stuff, and if you have room, store like your oil and your nuts in there. But if not, just store them wherever it is. You know, you do the best that you can, because all you can do is live with what you got. That's it. Don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. But just be prepared when you first open the bottle of the oil, or the package or container of the nuts. And if possible, try not to store the nuts in the original plastic containers. But if you can, put it in a glass container if possible. If not, stored into a plastic, something like this, that's food grade, made for that. Or if you're lucky enough to get those food grade buckets with the gamma lids, or even with the ones without the regular gamma lids, but get that gamma lid adapter, because I will tell you, we got the regular lids and we got the gamma lids, and I cannot for nothing open the regular lids at all. But I did buy that little tool. It's only like $3, $2 or $3 on Amazon, that made to open up those plastic food grade buckets. But you can also get the other buckets too, and open them up, and it's like a breeze. I can do it by myself. I don't have hubby help me no more, and I can close it myself. Now I still have to use my plastic hammer to close it, but at least I get it done. I can get it done now and stuff. But that's a good way to store stuff. So if you have like extra bulk, now I did end up getting from Azure, I think it was 25, I don't know if it was 25 or 50, because I'm still new at all this, so I don't know how. And also I'm living within my space in my house, because there's no sense in ordering 50 pounds of grain when I got nowhere to store it. It can be in a room on the floor somewhere, but that's okay, because we're, knock on wood, we're lucky. We have a pest control, so we're lucky without having little critters coming around and stuff. You just never know, though. But if you're in an apartment, you could have that in your home, but you don't know what your neighbors are doing, and what they're not doing, and the little critters will come from their house and go to your house. Then you're going to get infested. So if you can't, just put it in some kind of airtight seal container. Keep it in a cool, dark spot as much as possible. You definitely don't want to store any of these nuts and oils and flour. None of that. Don't store that next to your kitchen stove, because Number one, it's hot in the kitchen because you never know when someone's cooking or baking. The heat from the oven or the heat from the light, if the stove light is on, that brings in extra heat. That's just bad. So that heat is the enemy. Heat and light is the enemy to nuts, wheat berries, and flour. So that's why it's always best to store it in a cool, dark spot. But anyway, now I'm going to show you, because I'm going to show you this. I got a big mess. Because look at this. I have got, let me turn my, so I can see. Look at that mess. I got flour, because this is just the way it is. There's my machine. And look at my pretty flowers. My cousin brought me yesterday. We had her over for lunch. Those pretty. But anyway, oh, and I got some treats from a friend of mine from Mexico. I haven't had any yet, but I've got them out there to open. They're open, ready for me to try them. But anyway, so this is a messy job. And you're not going to see it very well, but there's crumbs. So I got to sweep and mop and clean up my mess. And then put everything away and get started for another project. So anyway, I want to thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. And this is my version of turning hard white wheat berries into flour, so you're ready to use at any time. And look at this. Look how narrow this stuff is. This is a perfect spot if you're in a tight squeeze of storing your products. So anyway, here we go. We thank you so very much. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.